I now came forward now to now talk to bankers in the world on how they can have what we call responsible investment. That's the origin of ESG. Look at ESG, environment, social, and governance. Look at E, environment. HSE, are you not, is it not there? Environment is there in HSE. In short, when we say HSE, it's health, safety, and environment. So when I say ESG, the E component of ESG is environment. It's both there. In short, this year alone, ILO team was on climate change and its impact on health and safety. Climate change that we never think is a serious issue before has impact on health and safety. And somebody asked me why, how. I said, I'll give one example. Look at the world today. It is coming up when temperature gaps up become more because of our carbon footprint. You now have high temperature. What happens? There will be more heat. When you have more heat, you start see people working, especially those outdoor, start having those heat affecting them. They start having heat stress. Some can have what we call heat cramp on their body. Some can have heat exhaustion, whereby they will sweat profusely under the sun. While some can have heat stroke. And those heat stroke, they can die. It's a medical emergency. Heat stroke is different from the normal medical stroke. Please take note. Normal stroke is about blood vessels. Heat stroke is about heat, internal heat, up to about 104 degrees Fahrenheit. You will not be sweating outside. Inside, the heat is there. You faint, you just go. You pass down. You can see the effect of climate change on the heat part of the body of human being. So therefore, E is called by HSE. What of the S? ESG, social. When you say social, social encompasses health and safety, community, HR in ESG. Health and safety has come out there. If you notice, most organizations today, they've stopped calling their department HR. They move it to people and culture. Read Harvard Business Review. You see the things that are talking there is people and culture. Everybody should have human face. You know why? If staff are motivated, everything that is tough becomes easy. But if staff are demotivated, everything that is easy becomes difficult. So we now move to talking about people. That's the social element. That is health and safety. Then the last one, which is the G. The guy said, yes, health and safety is not in G. I'm sure of that one. We are also in G. G is all about corporate governance, risk management. It's part of corporate governance. Health and safety is there in managing risk of a business. So, therefore, Fortunate President here, let's start thinking sustainability as our way. Our model is 4 points. 1, you must have STAR approach. S for strategy and structure. T for teamwork and engagement. And A for accountability system must be in place with your R, result and recognition. If you want to understand sustainability very well, you must have a strategy and structure. Processes must be there. Then you move to teamwork and engagement in line with the ISO standard and principle. You must work together. All of us here, we do the expert. We know a man known as Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt is the fastest man in the world. When Usain Bolt takes 100-meter race, Usain Bolt will take it as 9.58 seconds to take 100-meter race. But when Usain Bolt joined with his other colleagues, 3 of them, to take 100-meter, 4x100-meter race, relay race, what they are going to have is 36.84. Divided by 4, that gives you what? 9.21 seconds. When they are together, they make 9.21 seconds. Usain Bolt alone is what? 9.58. That means together, when we do things together, when we collaborate, when we come together, we achieve more. And that's what you women, you are doing. You, our mothers, you are doing. It's all about bringing the family to be one. All about bringing safety to be one. When you do it, you achieve more. And that's the principle behind sustainability. And we have applied it. Somebody asked me, everything you have put here is a framework that is theory. I don't believe in theory. Theory is there. We practicalize sustainability. Safety plus sustainability. Number 1, we have what we call safety for school, sustainability for schools, which is being done now. Look at how we do it. We adopted a school. We went to the school, Morocco Comprehensive High School, go and check the school to validate it. We went to the school, did health and safety assessment of the facility of the school with HSC guys, get the result. Everything we see in that assessment, the gaps, we close them for the school. From fire to, everything we see. After that one, we go to the next stage. We train all the teachers on how to fight fire and how to conduct first aid. Free of charge. It's a project. After that, we train the children on SDG goals from 1 to 17 and their relationship with safety. After that, we now have what we call handing over of the schools to them. Tires that people are throwing away. You have tires in your house, you throw it away. There's nothing called waste in environmental management, please, for God's sake. Tire, we took tire from that company and took it to the school, and we taught the children how to paint tire. They painted tire, we put humus soil, and we plant trees and flowers around the whole school. The school, go and check it. Morocco Comprehensive High School, highly beautified. Within 2 months, everything is done. That's sustainability for school. You can show the pictures. You can see, oh, these are live pictures, not all these fake pictures. Live, not from internet. This is what they did. See them teaching them. See on fire. See. The second one is sustainability for orphanage. What most of us do, maybe on our birthday, we go to orphan home, give them booze, give them food. No. If you bring the concept of sustainability into it, it will pass that level of only food. That one only solve temporary hunger. So what we do is we adopt orphanage home. We have adopted. When you adopt orphanage home, heritage home, you can go and check it. Another one is being done now. Little Saint Home is being done now. We'll complete it by next week, 2 weeks to come. We finish it also. Adopt orphanage home, train the carers and the teachers and everybody on first aid, how to handle the children, special needs training. After that, do assessment at orphanage home and put the home to be conducive and comfortable and habitable for the people to live there. Because orphans are children like us too, beyond the food. After that, now close all the gaps. They need fan, they need this, they need that, they need food. You now do it. That is sustainability for orphanage. We also have a school of health and safety, and that is the origin of QHSCS Leadership Academy. I know there are some of us here who passed through the school, and we have some of us here who are going to do exam tomorrow. QHSCS Leadership Academy is an example of sustainability. It's the only school in the world, and I repeat it, and I stand to be corrected. With my knowledge in health and safety in this world, having traveled far and gone almost everywhere to deliver lecture, I'm 100% sure it's the only one, and we are rewarded by all bodies in the world on it. A school that is tuition free for good 6 months. The student will pass through 50 modules, 36 lecturers, free of charge, and the certificates are accredited all over the world. IOSH, WSO, all of them are certificates. It's ISO 9001 certified. Go and check it online. It is there. American Council of Training and Development is there. 16 certifications for that school alone. The certificate of students read that 16, and they attend the school for free of charge. Nobody pay money for a good 6 months. That is an example of sustainability. The school now have, look at those, our colleagues who are visually impaired. They don't have eyes, but they have ability. There's ability in disability. See them. Go and watch it online about the schools and the graduation ceremony. Madam Fumi, may God bless her. May God elevate Fumi. Fumi is one of the lecturers in the school. A lot of them are lecturers. It's free of charge. You only need one change maker to start something. Everybody will join. We started it, and now we have 7 lecturers. In short, we are adding more lecturers to corporate performance, and other subjects are very important. Sustainability is about the people. It's about the people. Therefore, in summary, if you want a greener workplace and we want to establish sustainability, and you believe that this world is borrowed from our children, not from the ancestor, I want to make sure our children get good things for us. We want to have a workplace where I go to work and I come back home. in a manner that is better than we have gone to war. Therefore, we need to start changing our focus as health and safety professionals. Shift your focus from I to we. I will not do you anything. We will do you more. If we join together, we will achieve together. Together, we are stronger. Number two, we need to shift our focus from self-interest to common good. In short, you need to live VIP. Very important person. 0. You need to come to VAP. Value adding personality. What value are you adding to people? How many people are you putting smiles on their face? That is what Michelle Obama said. Michelle Obama said, the riches is not the money you acquire. It's how many people smile in the course of you relating with them. And that's what you should be thinking of. Make people smile. People should not come to you and they shed tears out. In short, you can only do this by being mad. In this word, please take note. If you are not mad, you cannot make any changes at all. Mad simply means making a difference. If you cannot make a difference in this world now, then forget it. You don't understand sustainability. And I believe all of us say we are mad. Are you mad? Are you sure? If you are mad, say we are mad. Oh my God, people are mad here too. I've been mad for long. Yes, it's good to be mad. We wear good clothes now. Not that of madness. We want to make a difference in our world. Let's go to quotation of Fumi, please. DJ, show Fumi's quotation. I want us to look at it together. Look at her quotation. Fumi is a very mad person. Believe in a cause to what? Serve humanity. Belong to a community that will go on the journey with you. Become the desired result. SOWSHE-A, we are here today. It's all about believe in the cause to serve humanity. You are there during welcome address. SOWSHE-A, we are here today. We belong to a community that will go on the journey with you. This is my vice president here. They're all on the journey with her. Everybody is moving on. And become the desired result. That is why in SOWSHE-A, we believe, we belong, and we become. Everybody, let's go. Believe and what? Become. Say it together. Believe, belong, and become. On this basis, the aircraft ever land. I say thank you very much, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that. Please kindly give a round of applause again, please, as you take a seat. Thank you very much, sir. Women in HSC. Women in HSC. Yeah, thank you. I was just trying to check out if we are forgetting that. Yeah. So we'll still be using that slogan till the end of today. Women in HSC. All right, thank you very much, engineer, for that. So we'll be moving on to Q&A, question and answer. So the section is well delivered. So I don't know, maybe if we have questions we would like to ask, or if we need a clarification in regarding the sustainability, how we can implement it in our own workplace or in any other. So I don't know if we have any questions for our facilitator before we call it an end.
If you have any questions on HSC sustainability, you can also ask your question. If it's on HSC that's confusing you, that have some things to clear there. On sustainability, you have some challenges to clear there, you can also ask.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for your time. All right, women in HSC. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Okay, engineer, sir. Sorry, please. We have two audience that wants to make clarification. You can stay here. Let me take the mic to them.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Engineer Bingpe Habiba by name. Thank you for a well-delivered speech, sir, Engineer Jamil. But I have a question. The question is, you've actually done well by, you made mention of sustainability in a Morocco school, where you had impacted the people with the ideas of tires and every other things you have said. But sir, I want to say that this is actually included, possibly maybe in Lagos State. This is actually done in Lagos State, in Ogun State, where I'm coming from. I'm actually a lecturer in a polytechnic, and I want to say safety there is a bit less considered. So I don't know how you can assist us in that particular school, or which ways can we actually invite you to assist in terms of safety. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, my lecturer, because our teachers, one of our teachers still need to also celebrate you. Thank you so much. What can we do in Ogun State? Clause 5.1 of ISO 45,128. I like to close standards, so I don't come from my brain. Standard. 5.1 talk about leadership and commitment. It starts from the leaders. It starts from, are they committed? If leaders are not committed, nothing we can achieve. We try our best. Let me give you an example. Lagos State Safety Commission, my TA, agreed to, sir. When we wanted to start the commission, and we made the presentation to the governor then, and the governor looked at us during that presentation, that is Governor Babatunde Fashola, and he felt this is a good thing to do. And we started the commission since then. Since then, do you know that all the other state governors, since Fashola time, up to today, quote me, up to today, no governor is ready to sign safety commission bill into law. No governor. Ogun State, where you come from, is on the table of your governor. Yes. There's none they are doing that they will not tell us. It's on the table of your governor. Other states too, table of their governor. It will die. You know why? Clause 5.1. They don't have that commitment. Clause 5.4 says worker participation and consultation. They don't even have it also. So my sister, solution is simple. Will Engineer Jamiu Badmus come to Ogun State to set up such a system? It may be tough. It may be very tough. I'm very busy. I just came out this morning from UK. This morning. The flight that Virgin that entered Nigeria brought me to Nigeria. And I just am about and crouch down here. Such a person that go down will not have such time. But we are ready to support. My lecturer, if you are ready, we are ready. And how we are going to do is that we are going to build you. We build you and your team to start something. If you are ready today, before we close, I'm a practical person. Today, before we close, please, let's sit down. I'll give you the framework that we can adopt. You give me your challenges, I'll listen to you very well, and I'll give a small framework, temporary. Then we take it off from there. If your team are ready, we will start something. Look, when you start small, it becomes big at the end of the day. Let's start. It's a journey. The Lagos we are doing, we are starting small too. So thank you very much, my sister. Let's meet after the program and let's develop such things. Meanwhile, you can join the academy. The exam is tomorrow, but I will give you a slot, free slot, ma. Free slot, admission straight, without any exam. You not do exam. See me, I'll give you slot. You join the academy straight. So you are built and you are empowered. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Permit me to address him as a madman. He is making a difference. Please, let's give him a round of applause once again, please. Thank you very much, sir. All right, we will be moving next to the agenda, the next thing on the agenda, which is the goodwill messages. So I will be calling on the moderator to please come and proceed with the next agenda.
I'm ambitious.
Welcome back, everyone, from our breakout session. It has truly been a great turn of events so far. So if you learned something in your breakout session, can you wave? Wow. If you learned something in your breakout session, please wave. Now, please celebrate yourself for learning. Celebrate yourself, please. So in 2 minutes each, I'll be calling the following people for their goodwill message. So I would like us to please celebrate Honorable Barrister Nkiruka C. Onyediocha, the Honorable Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. She is ably represented by Ms. Loretta Adogo, Director, Occupational Safety and Health. Please celebrate her as she comes up on stage for the goodwill message in just 2 minutes. Please keep clapping for her. Keep clapping till she gets here. Please celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Come on, energy, let's do this. Keep clapping for her till she gets here. Celebrate her. You're welcome, ma. Thank you.
Safety first. Safety always. That is our slogan. When I say safety, you say first. Safety. I want to stand on already established protocol. I bring you greetings from my principal, my Honorable Minister of State, Honorable Barrister Nkiruka Onyediocha, who is unavoidably absent because he's on another engagement or assignment. He has sent me to represent her here. You might be hearing my voice, but the message is from her. Like the Bible will always say, the voice is Esau's, but the body is, the voice is Jacob's, but the body is Esau's. So you are hearing from me, but the message is from Honorable Minister of State. To the exceptional women gathered at this prestigious African Women in EHS conference, today I'm inspired by your relentless dedication to break barriers, building bridges, and ensuring change towards safer, healthier, and more sustainable communities across Africa. Your leadership, resilience, and dedication in the field of environmental health and safety are not only transforming industries, but also inspiring future generations of women to pursue excellence. Hence the theme, breaking barriers, building bridges, women leading the way to safer and sustainable communities, which is apt and timely. Let us give ourselves a round of applause. Women. Thank you very much. It is worthy of note that your efforts in the environmental health and safety sector are not just shaping industries, they are laying the foundation for a future where every African worker is protected and empowered. This is in line with Section 17.3C of Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, which says that all policies should be towards ensuring that safety, health, and well-being of workers in workplaces are safeguarded and not abused or endangered. Your work resonates deeply with core principles outlined by the International Labour Organization, just like our sister came here and told us a lot of things, a lot of conventions, the Convention 155 and 187 on promotional framework, which Nigeria had ratified and is now one of the ILO Convention on fundamental principles and rights at work. Your work resonates deeply with the core principles outlined by the International Labour Organization. Principles and rights at work, reaffirming the global commitment to ensuring that safety and health at work are basic human rights for all, hence the inclusion of safety and health in the ILO framework of fundamental principles and rights at work. These principles, including freedom of association, the elimination of forced labor, the abolition of child labor, and the elimination of discrimination, are reflected in your daily efforts to create work environments where dignity, respect, and safety are paramount. Beyond the workplace, your influence extends into the heart of our communities. As mothers, daughters, sisters, and leaders, you are the bedrock of societal development. Yes, men may be the head, but women are the neck. Where the neck drives the head, that is where it goes. So where we drive our men, that is where they go. So women, and we say that what a man can do, just like our speaker said, what a man can do, a woman can do, and do better, positively. Your ability you bring a unique perspective that fosters inclusivity, nurtures growth, and builds resilience. Your ability to balance professional excellence with community engagement is a testament to your strength, compassion, and unwavering commitment to making the world a better place. Moreover, as we reflect on the state of the national occupational safety and health management system, it is clear that your leadership is crucial in driving the nation forward on occupational safety and health. You are the catalyst for change, ensuring that the principles enshrined in our policies translate into real, on-the-ground improvements in workplace safety and health. Furthermore, it is important to reiterate here that the Ministry of Labor and Employment, through Occupational Safety and Health Department, is saddled with the mandate of safeguarding and promoting safety, health, and well-being of workers in their various workplaces in Nigeria, with a view of preventing work-related accidents, injuries, diseases, dangerous occurrences, and deaths. It carries out this statutory function through workplace inspections, accident investigations, as well as developing policies, regulations, and guidelines or code of practice on occupational safety and health. And these activities are guided by the national legislations and the international standards. Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment, being the custodian of ILO Convention 1555, like we mentioned before, on occupational safety and health, and 187 on promotional framework for occupational safety and health, out of which the national policy on occupational safety and health was developed. My ILO country director mentioned it here, that we have a policy on occupational safety and health, which we are implementing now. And recently, the Nigerian country profile was developed courtesy of an international labor organization, because they supported us technically and financially to ensure that the Nigerian country profile was developed. And by November, we hope to launch the country profile, because by that November, there is what we are have a conference, summit, Occupational Safety and Health Summit, where the Nigerian country profile will be launched, and you are all invited to the occasion. Let me state here that the statutory responsibility of the ministry, as enshrined in Section 1 of National Policy and Section 6.4 of Factories Act 2004, to carry out OSH compliance inspections, of which is the custodian. Organizations and agencies and government should strictly work within their enabling status and avoid duplication of functions to avoid chaos in the national OSH system. However, we advocate for collaboration, partnership, cooperation to promote OSH in Nigeria. As we gather here in this space of learning and collaboration, may you continue to inspire and empower each other. We have to continue to inspire and empower each other. Let this conference be a beacon of progress, which ideas are not only exchanged, but also implemented to create lasting impact. I charge us all, therefore, together, let us continue to break down walls, build connections, and lead with purpose and passion. Wavering commitment to this cause and generations to come will benefit from your legacy. Thank you. Before now, I have to appreciate the leadership and the organizers of this program. And we hope, with deepest respect and admiration, I congratulate you on this momentous inaugural occasion and look forward to more of such in years to come. Thank you very much, and may God bless you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. That was indeed an able representation. So because of our time, we would like our distinguished guests that we're going to be calling up for their goodwill messages to please do it in 2 minutes. Thank you very much. So right now, I will be welcoming Honorable Mojisola Oluwa Kehinde Ali Macaulay, the Executive Director, Operations, NSITF. Please, with a round of applause, please let's welcome her on stage for our goodwill message. Please keep clapping till she gets here. Keep clapping till she gets here. We have to keep clapping till she actually gets here. You're welcome, ma.
If you had not clapped, I would have gone back. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Too many beautiful in this hall. I'm proud of all of you. Please put your hands together for yourselves. Well, I want to congratulate the organizers of this event. It's the maiden event, I can hear from Madam Fumi Adigbola, I'm so proud of you and all of your team for coming up with this very laudable initiative. So I've been asked to come and give my goodwill, and I promise you it's coming straight from my heart. I'll be standing on the well-established protocols. I want to greet the wonderful organizers, presenters, the participants of this inaugural African Women in Safety, Health, and Environment Conference. It is with great pleasure that I extend my warmest congratulations to all of you on this occasion of this important gathering. As women leaders and professionals in the critical fields of safety, health, and environment, you play a vital role in shaping a more sustainable and equitable future for the African continent and beyond. The work you do every day, whether it's ensuring the safety and well-being of communities, protecting fragile ecosystems, or advocating for sound environmental policies, is truly inspiring. You're the catalysts for positive change, paving the way for a world where people and the planet thrive in harmony. This inaugural conference represents a significant milestone, bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates to share knowledge, forge connections, and amplify your objective voices. By coming together across borders and disciplines, you have the power to drive groundbreaking solutions, challenge the status quo, and inspire the next generation of African women leaders in these crucial domains. The Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund plays a very vital role in promoting workplace safety and providing fair compensation and assistance to workers injured on the course of their work. In this context, women make up a significant proportion of health and safety professionals in the workforce. I wish you all a very productive, insightful, and empowering conference. May this gathering be the first of very many coming up, strengthening the bonds between you, accelerating your impact, and moving us all closer together to a more sustainable, equitable, and resilient future for Africa and the world. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, best wishes for a productive and insightful deliberations. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the goodwill message. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the panel discussion. And I'm going to be yielding the microphone to our vice president. She's the vice president at SOWSHE-A. So I'm sure that after the breakout session, we came back with a lot more energy. I'm going to ask you to please give some of that energy as we celebrate the moderator for the panel discussion, who is our vice president. She's come all the way from our sister country. When you hear Chale, you hear Akwaba. You know what I'm talking about. Please welcome to the stage Ms. Portia Ado Ochire as she leads the next session. All right, please, let's keep clapping.
Thank you so much. It's been an exciting session so far. We've taken bits and pieces from everybody that has presented. I sat in the session for Engineer Badmus, and the energy and the passion was palpable. And I wouldn't have traded being here for anything. We would have our panel session where we are going to have discussions about building bridges, and breaking the barriers. But one thing we are going to do is shatter the glass ceiling. As women gathered here, I was telling a couple of the ladies I met yesterday that I would never forget how I would fight with my hairdressers because I need to wear a helmet, but I also need to look good when I'm out of my safety gear. But then I'm unable to do all that because of how the helmet has been designed, or how you look for a safety boot that would just not fit. It was too big because they have sizes over 40. So it's time to have the conversation and take it further to think about how we would promote safety, equity, to make everybody comfortable, and for those of us who are promoting safety, to ensure that we feel safe too. So we'll be introducing our panelists whilst they set up. But it's been a good conversation. As mentioned, we are using Slido for the questions. So drop them in, and let's keep the conversation going. Use the hashtag and keep it going. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for staying up till this moment. It can only get exciting. So let's keep on going. And as I introduce our panelists, so this is very diverse. We have Dr. David Ako, who is going to represent, who is with IOSH. He's the Vice President for IOSH. Yes. And then we have Mr. Wale Smart, who is representing the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association. And we have Dr. Dare Adelusi from the University of Lagos. We have Mr. Shehu Awojobi from the Lagos Safety Commission, State Safety Commission. We have Adesola Adeyemo from African Union ECOSOC. We had her earlier on. We have the Executive Director of ANWSAP. And then we have Lucy Okeke from the Women Engineers in Oil and Gas. So please help me honor them whilst we give them a round of applause. They join me on stage conversation. Neka. So please let's keep clapping while they come. Let's mix it up. So I think we might have to mix it up. So diversity, inclusion. So Adisa, please move by Dr. Please, can you move this way for me? Okay, you go. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that side. Okay, so we will get going with our conversation whilst we try to settle in. And the whole idea and the whole theme for this is breaking the barriers and building bridges. And we have some very formidable people here, academia, industry. I think when I started my career, whenever you talk about health and safety, your first thought goes to oil and gas, then mining, then you talk about manufacturing. So when I told people I was working in a bank, they're like, oh, you left safety? I said, no, I'm still there. In a bank? I said, yes, in a bank. So there's a lot of people don't know, but that is how we are going to get people to get onto the conversation. So moving on into it, welcome my panelists. Can we please get an extra microphone? Thank you. So I'll go straight into it. Dr. David, my fellow Ghanaian, my brother, who is a vice president of IOSH. And it's not IOSH West Africa, he's a vice president of let's say the entire IOSH. So we are very privileged that he took time out of his busy schedule to be here, as well as all of our panelists who have joined us. So, Dr. David, we would like to ask, how do issues like race, as Fumi was talking about her race, like race, class, gender, intersect in the work of creating a safer and sustainable communities? What can be done to ensure a more inclusive approach? When we look at the issues around race, class, and gender, how can we ensure we have a more inclusive approach?
Thank you, my sister from Ghana. Okay, so just a very short introduction. As said, my name is Dr. David Aku. The doctor is medical, not PhD, so don't worry. I represent IOSH. IOSH is the Institution of Occupational Safety and Health. We were established in 1945, and we are the largest professional body for safety and health in the world. We have over 50,000 members in 130 countries. And we are here to show support for this very, very, very important topic. The reason why we think this is important is, think about it. If a man and a woman are hired in the same job, in the same country, they have the exact same job description, they end up having different hazards. How? This is what we need to think about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, as has been said, even if you are doing the same thing, the exact same job description in the same industry, what we are exposed to can be different. And I think that's what we have to think about. Maybe we'll have to get an answer on Slido by the end of this session. We should have gotten an answer. So I'll give it back to Dr. Ako to give us an answer to how we can enhance inclusion considering race, class, and gender in the workplace. Thank you.
So, race, class, gender. When trying to understand these issues, it's best understood using examples. So for race, think about your N95 masks you use maybe in construction, oil and gas, mining. Those masks are supposed to create a nice seal around your face. But those masks were designed with the Caucasian male face features. Which means that for for non-Caucasians, because we are talking about race, those masks will not fit as well. Class. The risks you are exposed to depends on your socioeconomic class, unfortunately. If you're higher up in the socioeconomic class, you have your work-related stress. You have your ergonomic issues from sitting all day. If you're in the lower socioeconomic class, you're exposed to chemicals, for example, cleaners. So the fact that you are just from a different socioeconomic class does expose you to different hazards. Now, should you develop a problem, your ability to access healthcare in terms of occupational healthcare or general healthcare also differs based on your socioeconomic class. And then gender, the main reason we are here. As has been said, PPE or personal protective equipment was designed with the man in mind, which means that the PPE being used by women is not well-fitting mostly. Things are changing now. Some people are now making PPE to fit women better. But beyond this, women are exposed to far different hazards than men. Think about reproductive health. The chemicals that women and men are exposed to are doing different things. So, for example, a woman might not be able to get pregnant. Or even when she gets pregnant, these chemicals can affect the unborn baby. or can be passed on to the baby through breastfeeding. We don't even think about menopause. Menopause is a hard time. And upon all the issues that men have in the workplace, women have to also deal with what? Menopause. These things are not being discussed and they need to. What can we do? When it comes to race, class, gender, let's bring everybody to the table. If there's a table where people are discussing issues and you are not there to fight for yourself, you will not, your issue will not be discussed. It will not be fought for. Let's bring all these groups together, put them at the table, close off these blind spots. This is the only way in which we are going to come with inclusive policies, inclusive control measures. Thank you.
Thank you. So we need to be at the table to ensure that our thoughts are heard. Okay, so thank you very much. This is something we need to put in mind, and I think it's something we've discussed, Fumi and I have discussed about your very typical example about nose mask being formulated or with the Caucasian in mind. Then now think about African women with our diverse shapes having to wear PPEs that were made specifically for a Caucasian male. I can't remember the number of times I had to get an oversized trousers coverall so that it will be tailored to suit me and everything else in between. So it's a very good point that you create, and then there's something that we take back to the table for conversation. So moving on to Lucy, can you share your journey and what inspired you to be in the field that you're in, and some of the significant barriers you have faced as a woman in your career and how you overcame them? Briefly tell us about that. Kindly introduce yourself first. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to say a very special thank you to the convener of the Society of Women in Safety, Health, and Environment, Mrs. Fumi Adegbola. Thank you so much, and all the organizers of this event. So my name is Lucy Okeke. I'm the chapter secretary for the Lagos Forum for the Women in Energy, Oil, and Gas. For the Lagos chapter, I'm the chapter secretary. The Women in Energy, Oil, and Gas is a not-for-profit organization committed to closing the gender gaps in the women in the energy, oil, and gas industry. My story is a story of grace. It's also a story of resilience, and also is a story of being a product of your environment in a positive way, because I hail from the Niger Delta region. And so it's no surprise that I am an environmentalist. I'm also a sustainability professional. I'm also a people's person. And you know, when it comes to sustainability, it's all about the people, the planet, and the profit. And I'll always say something which I know is true to my own experience. A famous saying that if you want to go far, you go together. If you want to go fast, you go alone. So that being said, I come from a large family. I'm the fourth of 7 children. And I'm also from an academia. My dad was a pioneer staff from the pioneer lecturer from the Petroleum Training Institute, Warri. He's deceased now. And my mom was, my mom is a retired teacher. Ultimately, I would say that having a good education was a no-brainer. Well, coming from that background, I also was faced with challenges. And I'm going to say that challenge is what most of us here face, not only as women, but as men too, and that's access to good quality education. I was fortunate to have been able to finish my university education with all those challenges. And, but coming from the Niger Delta area, where environmental pollution is, degradation from oil pollution is rife, and hearing those stories growing up about the women not being able to fish anymore, the waters and rivers being polluted, I knew that should I be given the opportunity to do something when I grow up, I would want to contribute my own quota. However, my dad obviously wanted me to be a medical doctor. So that's a story for another day. So I wasn't able to do that. And incidentally, in my 3rd year of university. This is for the younger women to pay attention to your courses. I took a compulsory course in environmental microbiology, and that kind of laid the foundation to where I am today. So when I took that course, I quickly remembered where I was from. I knew that I needed to get the knowledge needed to make any change whatsoever in the oil and gas industry. I was lucky and fortunate to get a job in the public service with the Petroleum Equalization Fund in 2001, immediately after, or a year after my youth service. But you see, I was restless. I knew I was posted to the public affairs unit, then to operations, but I knew I wanted to be an environmentalist. Why? Because I wanted to be a voice for my people in the Niger Delta. So yes, I was in oil and gas industry, but I wasn't, I didn't have the knowledge about environmental issues, right? I couldn't join or put all the dots together. So my restlessness made me to pursue a master's degree 5 years after at Oxford Brookes University in the UK, where I got a master's in environmental assessment and management. But you see, when I returned, and permit me to say, I got a study leave without pay. Why? I wasn't supported, right? My management did not see any reason why they would pay me to further my education abroad. So I had to solicit the help of friends, family, to study. So it wasn't like I was privileged. No, I wasn't privileged. It was hard. But I was resilient, I was focused, I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew that if I was to be taken seriously, I would need to get a better education. Anyways, I went and I came back and I faced another challenge. And you know what we call unconscious bias and subtle discrimination. So here I was thinking that once I came back, I'll, be called to do something related to HSC, but that wasn't the case, right? So for 10 years, I had nothing to do with HSC. So it was for over 10 years. So it was operations today, admin tomorrow, planning. I was frustrated. However, I'm going to say something here. I did not relent. I put my eyes on the ball. I made sure that I grew from being a student member with the Institute of Environmental Management and Assessment, IEMA UK. I proceeded, I took exams, courses, I became a practitioner, environmentalist, and I always logged in my CPD. And so I kept that going privately. I spent the little monies I had to just gain more knowledge in HSC, but particularly in the environmental management field. But I'm going to say something here, not to take too much of our time. I was headhunted. Right now, I'm the team lead and senior manager for environmental assessment and management for the NMDPRA, which is the technical and commercial regulator. Thank you. Which is the technical and commercial regulator for the Nigerian midstream and downstream oil and gas operations in Nigeria. I was called by the head human resources who said, look, we need someone to fill that position. We need someone to lead the team for environmental management in the whole of Lagos region. We have looked at our nominal role, and we have seen that you have a master's degree from Oxford Brookes University. We've also seen that you have certificates in environmental management from IEMA. We've also seen that you're a practitioner environmentalist. Please, it was a daunting task, but I'll tell you that the experience I've gained in a few years is worth more than what I've missed in 15 years. So the PIA happened, right? And here I am today. I'm doing what I love to do most. Talk to people, encourage young women. So pretty much that's my story. So keep your eyes on the ball, be focused, be resilient, and do not let anyone tell you no. Thank you.
Wow. I think this way would have said an amen and then the closing prayer and then leave. But this is amazing. And I think we should, it's about resilience and the fact that there are barriers to be broken, and the fact that she identified that she needed to look back and build a bridge to better her people, not just herself. And I think that's an amazing takeaway from here. So quickly, we'll just move straight to talk about academia. how we are going to tie it all in, because it needs to start from the very basics so that it is ingrained in our educational system for us to move forward. So Dr. Dare Adelisi, I have one question for you. How can academic programs at the university, and obviously it would be the University of Lagos, be tailored to better prepare students, particularly women, for careers in OHSC? Because I think most of us didn't do health and safety as their first degree. I know I didn't. I'm an environmentalist. I'm an environmental scientist, first degree, until I did my master's in occupational health and safety. So we need to know how we can tailor these academic programs, especially to entice women to go into occupational safety and health. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. Let me first of all thank Madam Fumi Adigbola for giving me the opportunity and honor of being a panelist on this special international conference on African women in safety, health, and environment. Thank you very much. Let me also say a little concerning me. I'm an adjunct lecturer at the University of Lagos, like you know, and my PhD thesis was on occupational safety climate as it affects workers, especially in the health sector. I use the health sector as my research area. How perception of occupational safety have frustration and anxiety on healthcare workers in Lagos State. And I was in the field, and I discovered that, first and foremost, many of the workers do not even know what safety is all about. And some of them that did know do not bother to implement or do what was expected of them. Be that as it may, like Madam said, I don't think there are many universities offering occupational safety and health as a degree course in Nigerian university. Maybe Port Harcourt, I wouldn't know, but I think Port Harcourt does in PhD program, PhD level. What we can do is, first and foremost, to develop a curriculum on occupational safety and health that we offer degree programs for candidates seeking admission, and especially with focus on women. Mind you, the university, if it does happen, the university will not deliberately go out and influence women admission into the program. That means that women have to be sensitized to the opportunities that abounds in occupational safety and health. And that is where SOWSHE-A will have to come in to sensitize candidates seeking admission to take opportunity and enter into that program at undergraduate level. So that's one thing we can do, curriculum development. But then when that curriculum is going to be developed, it has to be in partnership with practitioners in the field, so that all the areas, the units of occupational safety could be incorporated into the curriculum and then to be taught. Beyond that, the student will also need some sort of internship. While they are doing the academic program, they need to go for internship in the industry, especially pairing the females with female professionals who are already doing well in the field, especially for mentorship and then counseling. Furthermore, the industry can also sponsor program like scholarship, giving scholarship for students to be able to pursue course in OSH, especially female students. We are talking of female here, quite all right, because the barrier is real. I'm not sure we have even talked how real the barrier is. Maybe I can digress here. Research indicates that about 42% of women are in the workforce in the world. 42% of women are in the workforce in the world. And only about 22% of them are in safety profession. Meaning that the male are dominating the industry. Why are they dominating? You cannot blame the male. I can, in a way, blame the female. Because it's like when they call the female the weaker version, the weaker, how do they say? Yeah, the weaker version. You have accepted that. But when you look at it psychologically, we have what you call cognitive functioning, cognitive skill. When you look at the cognitive functioning of a male and that of me, they are not different. The only difference you can have is the influence of hormones. Male have different hormones, different have hormones. There are some hormones that enhance women's cognitive functioning. For instance, let me say this. During pre-ovulation and post-ovulation, your hormonal functioning varies. And it has been established that during your what did I say now? Yeah, post-ovulation, you are more active in certain area than men, which is an advantage over men. But you are not making use of this opportunity. You have allowed men to dominate you. And so you need to come up. You need to come up and break the barrier, like you are saying. You need to break the barrier. Starting from the university, from education, we have to start by developing curriculum. I'm sure more questions will still come from this, by which time I will continue to elaborate on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So I think now, because a lot of us are tracking our calendars, post-ovulation, we have to bring in more energy. All that was lost pre-ovulation, now that we know. And it's good that we have all this information. And I think when the keynote speaker was talking, I quickly prompted Fumi. I was like, Fumi, did you hear talking about MSc and this? We need to get all those details. And that is why we are here, to get the information and use it. Because we didn't even know, I didn't even know that maybe my surge in energy post-ovulation is because of some hormone. I just thought it was just my energy. But now we would channel our energy very well. So thank you very much, Doctor. And I will go to Sheung. What strategies how can the commission's work in OHS help create a safer and more inclusive workplace for women and men? Because I think what we don't want to do, I always tell my people that as we are fighting for equity and equality and pushing for the agenda of the female, let us not do it in such a way that in the next couple of years, we'll now be fighting for the boy child, especially being a boy mom. So how can we make sure that there's equity so that none of us loses at the end? How the commission's work in HSC can create a safer and more inclusive workplace for both men and women?
Thank you very much, Portia. Good afternoon,
Sorry, short
everybody.
introduction before.
Yes, so my name is Sheung Awujobi. I'm the technical advisor at the Lagos State Safety Commission. And it's indeed a pleasure to be here. I'm happy to see a lot of women in the room. Please, all the women, give a round of applause for yourselves. So I'll start by saying that I'm happy for this question because it doesn't touch on the female child alone. It touches on the male child as well. And I would like to say what the Safety Commission does. So in Lagos, the Safety Commission is an agency of government that was set up to ensure the safety of lives and properties of people that go to work and ensuring that they go to work and they return home safely. We do this through a number of approaches. We like to say we operate a 4 E's approach. And first is evaluation for us to even understand what risks do we face. Second is engagement. So because of how Lagos is set up, we have different sectors and different categories of people and industries. So for us, is engaging at the different stratas, right? What are the issues that you face? Because there are cultural issues, there are beliefs that they have, and they have their minds fixated on it. Then the third is education, right? For us, we believe that that's the best way to change any society, right? It's important that education must be top on the agenda. And the last, as regulators, the last E is not one that we're very proud of, but is also very important, and that's enforcement. So those are the 4 E's that we operate. But going to your question, what do we do to ensure that the sector is safe? So for instance, I'll give a typical story of a manufacturing site, a steel construction, a steel foundry, where recently someone died. And how did he die? He fell into a molten. If we understand what it means to fall into a molten, we know that it's such a horrible death. Now, for us as the commission, the first thing is, what could we have done to make sure that that did not happen? So for me, it goes back to, first, as a commission, we have made a presentation. We made a presentation at the National Council of Establishment for the need to create an SOWSHE-A within the civil service. That submission was presented during this administration. It was defended and it was approved. And graciously, the governor of Lagos State has ensured that now in the Lagos State Civil Service, we have the occupational safety and health cadre. I think that deserves a round of applause.
Yeah, that's...
Now, riding on top of that, what that means is across all ministries, departments, and agencies in Lagos, there will be SOWSHE officers. Now, it means that from all sectors, ranging from manufacturing, transportation, hospitality, oil and gas, we have people that their job will be focused on ensuring that they watch out for slips, trips, hazards that can cause injuries, accidents, and in some cases, fatality. So on that end, we're ensuring that at least we have enough manpower to tackle issues around SOWSHE accidents. Secondly, what we're also doing is training, right? We believe that we cannot train enough. So we're collaborating with a lot of partners. IOSH very recently is looking to train a lot of artisans, right, on construction sites on safety. And the way they're looking to do it is not classroom, because we need to understand that not everybody has the liberty of going into a classroom to study. So we're preparing parks to go inside and render this training in situ. So it means that it's very practical. They understand what we're trying to pass across. Now, on the training end, beyond training them at the sector level, which is where they are already formed, we're also doing a lot in school safety sensitization. And I think that is one thing that we're very, very particular about. Why are we particular about this? We believe we should catch them young. Right. So one of the things we've done during the breakout session, one lady was talking about a school that in Ogun State. We've gone past that in Lagos. So across all our tertiary institutions, we've incorporated safety as a course. So it means that from your first year in school, safety has been incorporated. For LASU, Lagos State University, and University of Lagos, we have ensured that, and it is a given in Lagos State. But beyond tertiary education, also at the primary level, there's something we're doing called the school safety calendar. And I mean, it's interesting to see what safety means to different people, right? This calendar, what it brought out to us was people saw safety from a different perspective. We saw children that were drawing an open well as what they could identify as a safety hazard. We saw people that had open fires because they were cooking in their homes with firewood And that was what they identified as a safety hazard. So for us, it was getting into the mind of the children to even understand, what does safety mean to you, right? First, we understand that, then we start to train them on ways they can do better, and we believe that they can take that back home to their parents, and then that culture of change and training the girl and boy child can be possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So this is good. And then I have a 7-year-old that in my house there's how to, with the others, people in the house supporting us, I put posters around when somebody's choking, when they are eating. And then one time he asked me, Mommy, why do you have a helmet in your car? I said, that's my work. Then one time I had to tell him about the reason why we wear safety seat belts, how if you are going at the speed of this, the body. Where he told me, Mommy, next time tell me more about safety. And this is my job, and I realize I'm not even doing it at home. So as women, the many caps that we wear, when we do risk assessments at the workplace, how many of us have done risk assessments at home? How many of us have fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, and all that? But if one is missing from our offices, we scream it down. So let's take it back. We're starting it from the root, from the schools, and from our homes, because the mothers, as my son will say, Mommy is the boss of the home. So let's take it back home. Thank you so much for all that you are doing for the Lagos State, and I'm so happy to hear that other states are learning from it and it's being duly recognized. Thank you so much. So as you're talking about Lagos State, let's take it to the bigger screen, like African Union. Adeshola, how can we facilitate a continental framework for health and safety so that it is not this country wants to do this and another country wants to do that? So, and that was one of the struggles I had as a professional, young professional, working for an organization that had different clients we were representing. So if I'm dealing with an oil and gas company that is from France, I have to use their regulation. If I have to do from Australia, it's different, from UK, it's different. So how can we, as African Union, as ECOSOC, help facilitate the implementation of a framework for the whole continent to use? Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon again, everyone. I am Adesola Adeyemo, Program Officer with the African Union Economic, Cultural and Social Council, ECOSOC. And I think this question is quite important and near and dear, or the topic I should say is quite near and dear to my heart, and particularly with ECOSOC, given that, for those who do not know, we are an advisory organ of the African Union, and we are civil society-led, civil society-focused, so this is quite important. And given the nature of how we are set up, ECOSOC that is, we provide advice to the African Union across different themes. So as a result of this, we bring together civil society organizations to provide their insights to various thematic areas. And for context, and again, that's why the question is asked, the African Union doesn't necessarily have a continental framework for SOWSHE. However, there are relevant, frameworks and policies, I should say, that have been put in place that do touch on aspects of SOWSHE. So we talk about the African Union Agenda 2063. And if I'm to quickly ask around the room, I'm not sure if a lot of people are familiar with the African Union Agenda 2063. Does anyone know about the AU Agenda 2063? A few hands. And what about the SDGs? Of course. So, the AU Agenda 2063 does touch on a lot of aspects when it comes to SOWSHE. And, one of the visions of the Agenda 2063 is a continent that is developed and empowered by its people, specifically the women and youth. And we also have the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, looking specifically at the protocol, the Maputo Protocol, that looks at women's rights. Also has elements of SOWSHE and how to protect women in these sectors, in the workplace and things like that. There are other policies that are out there But when we come down specifically to ECOSOC, again, to remind us all, ECOSOC is an advisory organ to the African Union. And a role that ECOSOC can play in ensuring that, a continental framework is established is by leveraging its vast networks of civil society organizations, which, it's a composition of various NGOs, various organizations and things like that. So we can leverage the expertise of civil society, because civil society does make up, a huge chunk of civil society, is women. And civil society needs to have their perspectives included in, these conversations into the development of these policies. So bringing together civil society organizations, as ECOSOC, we do develop policy recommendations, research, and also, again, advisories, which are then taken to the member states level for consideration. So to sort of sum up, the response to that question is, as ECOSOC, we bring the voice of the African citizenry through the policies, through the research, bringing their insights, because they are the most impacted in these areas, and having that be contributed to, policy development at the continental level, and having that being taken from there by member states. And another aspect is capacity building. And as ECOSOC, we ensure that, we're not only capacitating the skill sets of the civil society organizations that we face and encounter with, but also ensuring that, how do we capacitate member states? How do we capacitate government representatives to ensure that, yes, you're creating these policies, but, where are the women on the table? How gender sensitive are the ideas that are put on the table? So we do sort of, when it comes to capacity building, we do both a top to bottom approach and a bottom to top approach, ensuring that, it's not just the people developing these policies that, we're building the capacities and it's only their voices that are heard in these decision-making processes, but also ensuring that civil society have their voices heard. And in addition to that, so I am a program officer working on accreditation. So this is basically a platform that the member states have developed to ensure that civil society organizations have statuses within the African Union, both observer and consultative statuses. So this already, has created a platform where, we can ensure that the voice of the people are incorporated when it comes to AU decision-making processes. So again, we don't really have a continental framework, but with ECOSOC, because we are civil society, led and focused, we can really bring together, the insights, the expertise of the day-to-day people into these policies. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Adeshola. So, the conversation is getting very exciting, but I've been prompted that my time is up. So quickly, I haven't heard the voice of Monica here. So we'd like to ask, definitely, I'm not going to leave you out. And then Lucy, of course, what are some of the significant challenges facing women professionals? Just one significant one, and what we can do, what conversation can be had to ensure that we address this particular issue. Because our time is up, I would hope you make it very brief. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, and so good to be here. Finally, a dream come true, and we are holding the first conference, not just for occupational health and safety, which you are very used to, but we are holding one that specifically is talking about women. So well done, Fumi and your team, and be rest assured that all the female in Nigeria, and I'm sure I'm representing them, we are fully in support of this. It's something that if you hadn't done, we would have done. And thank you that you are actually at the forefront, and be rest assured that we will support you always. So my name is Monica Nwosu. I'm representing Association of Nigerian Women Safety Professionals, and SOWSHE-A. The challenges that women face, if we start, I probably will not close today. But she said the very significant one. And I will quickly jump on the unconscious bias. I think Lucy mentioned that very briefly. The unconscious bias and the cultural sensitivity and cultural norms when it comes to the issues of women and occupational health and safety, in the industry. Generally speaking, it is seen to be that it's a male-dominated kind of industry. So this industry or this field should be led for men. And I can quickly recall, my own experience, the first job, my dream job that I would have gotten. I scaled through all the interview process, and at the very last stage, I think I've said this story before. I'm sure one or two of you have heard this story before. And the very last stage of the interview, and I was asked just 2 questions. Number 1, are you married? And of course, the answer was a yes. I was a very young mom. I had a 6-month-old baby. I was so proud and I was so excited. In fact, there was nothing else I was talking about other than my family. So asking me, are you married? Of course, excitedly, I'm married. If I didn't even ask me the second question, I volunteered. I even have a beautiful 6-month-old baby. And that changed the countenance and the face of everyone at the table. And, the next thing was, we will get back. We will talk to you later. And I think you can guess what happened thereafter. Yeah, that was never I'm sure most of us can relate. So aside from the societal norm, that conscious, will I call it unconscious? Permit me to say conscious bias. The narrative is changing. When I entered the industry 20 years ago, it was terribly bad. But to be honest, the narrative is gradually changing. And women are actually blazing the ceiling. And please, can we actually appreciate ourselves? Yes, yes. Regardless of all the unconscious or conscious biases, we are actually blazing the trail. And I've seen women that are given opportunity at the table and how they were able to bring value to the table. Another critical issue that we have touched briefly is also the issue of the clothing that we wear for work clothing. I have the privilege of working on different projects, particularly in the northern part of the country, Nigeria. And then you will see women in EHSE tying wrappers, yes, because does not permit you as a married woman to dress otherwise. And then you are walking around machines that could lead to entrapment, if you understand what I mean, rotating parts of the machine, and you are clothed with wrappers. I had to audit. I had the privilege of auditing such organization, and it was amazing. We had to, educate, a lot of advocacy, a lot of education. You will see a whole department made up of EHSC women, and they are all dressed in some certain way. And now, aside from the fact that, of course, the PPE sometimes does not fit, we also have issues of the fact that you see women wearing PPEs that are oversized, and then you see women wearing PPEs that are, imagine a pregnant woman wearing a PPE to do some certain work. So the culture, aside from the culture not permitting us to wear some certain PPEs, I also feel that we women, particularly, let me use the word institutions. I think we need to encourage more institutions when it comes to the issues of policies and practices. Organizations can actually, because I actually know some organizations, and I feel that organizations can actually begin to, create policies that are tailored specifically towards women. And another major area of challenge I see is the employment biases. I have seen a situation where you will see the same, I think David mentioned it briefly, where you will see the same position, a male and a female is occupying the same position, and they will have different compensation packages. And then they will have the same different terms and conditions of work, because this is a particular gender and all of that. I think that narrative has to begin to change, and I am glad that we are having this conversation in this conference, and I truly believe there will be a communique that will be released after this conference where we begin to educate. I think that Vanessa also did a very fantastic job highlighting what organization can do to support women. The truth is that institutions can do a lot better. Aside from the fact that we are waiting for governments to create policies. Yes, we are waiting for government to begin to, make some changes. We also need institutions and organizations to begin to, promote policies that support women specifically. Okay, so for instance, we talk about nursing mothers, we talk about pregnant women. What about women that are coming back to work after they have taken, their leave? Do we have childcare support facilities for them? I know there are some organizations that have such childcare support facilities for some women to help them to, to support them after, they have been on leave and everything. And another challenge again that I also see that women face, and as a privileged consultant, I see this play out and I'm vehemently against it, is the fact that when women are on leave, it is counted against you because in a certain year you have taken your annual leave and you're also taking your maternity leave, right? So when you come back from maternity leave during appraisal period, that is used against you because it is perceived that you were not at work. And because you were not at work, those periods that you were not at work for your maternity leave is counted against you for the appraisal period. And it's not adding up. It's not adding up because this is a natural process that a woman typically would have to go through, right? So right now we are also advocating. I'm actually advocating seriously, and I'm actually looking forward to a time where we, as an association of women in Nigeria, will begin to, put more, lend more of our voices when it comes to policy changes. A lot of our policies actually need changes, and I'm glad to hear that a lot is being done in Lagos State, but more needs to be done at a national level and across Africa, particularly when it comes to some specific policies that support women through pregnancy, through nursing period, and not just granting maternity leave, also looking at paternity leave as well, so that we can balance these things. So women are not just going to, be the only one bearing the burden of, child care support, bearing the burden and all of that. Such burden should be spread across the parental support system. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. In rounding up, a quick one from Lucy, and Lucy. No, Adenike. Sorry, I got it confused. Sorry about that, Adenike. So, with the network, the influence that you have, how can you ensure that employers are adopting the proper OHS practices to prioritize the safety and well-being of their, especially the women in the workplace? Very brief. And we were getting questions from Slido. Quick one to add is, everybody on Slido is asking, how can I be part of SOWSHE-A? We will put out all the details, especially our colleagues who are online. We put out all the details. Follow us on all our social media handles, LinkedIn and Instagram. Follow us and we will give all that information. One male asked, if you are a man, can you join SOWSHE-A? Unfortunately, because of the W in the SOWSHE-A, you cannot be part of it, but we definitely have ambassadors who are men who are supporting us, and we welcome all of you. So quick one for Adenike. How can you influence employers to ensure that they promote the well-being of their workers, especially the women?
Thank you so much, Portia. My name is Adenike Adebayo Ajala. I'm the Director of Social and Labor Affairs, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association. So if you look at thank you to your supporters, you'll see an acronym there as NECA. And NECA is the umbrella body that represents private sector employers. We do that to government, we do that to stakeholders, to unions. And because we are recognized as the voice of employers in Nigeria, what we simply do is advocate to employers. So that's basically what we do. We are also known as the voice of labor on labor issues. So when anything that has to do with workplace matters, it has to do with NECA. So when the director of ILO was talking, and she mentioned the fact that there are the tripod, that's government, workers, and employers, NECA represents that voice. And we have a seat at the Governing Council of the International Labour Organization. So issues concerning workplace safety is taken very seriously by employers because we see them as partners in progress, and we have what we call enlightened self-interest. An employer that is healthy, an employer that is feels safe is a productive employee. So in terms of ensuring that we have an environment that is safe for workers, one of the things that we do is amplify and emphasize issues on safety, and we do that especially concerning policy issues. So with the Ministry of Employment, we work with them. We work with the NSITF to ensure the issues of safety are taken very seriously in the workplace. Now, on issues concerning women, for example, we have a network where we emphasize issues concerning women. And the director also mentioned it, where we teach entrepreneurs, especially women, on issues of PPE, so that they're able to purchase PPEs, advocate for PPEs to be utilized, because one of the things that the employers complained about is that employees do not like using PPEs. They provide it, but they don't like using it. So they prefer to use the works with their bare hands, and then you now find accidents happening in the workplace. But when you have a woman that is an ambassador, that wears the PPE, then it is one of the things that you use to encourage other women to do likewise. Same with the men. We've also gone ahead in terms of the labor law. It's the fabric of anything that concerns the workplace. Right now, women are entitled to 3 months maternity leave, and we have a reviewed labor law that is currently in the works, where we have extended, advocating for the extension of that labor law to 4 months. So by the time the labor law is passed, you can clap for us now. One of the reasons why we did not extend it beyond that is what she said, the fact that employers count. In fact, I was on that committee, and I said it. I said, look, as a woman, I can tell you that an employer will count you not being at work if you extend it beyond a certain time. However, 4 months is baseline. It is the baseline for any employer that has to comply with. An employer is free to do more than that. And we have different employers doing even more than, in fact, some do 6 months. So that's one of the things that we advocated for. Issues concerning lactation is another thing that we deal. And at NECA, we have the forefront of being ambassadors for that. In fact, if you come to the NECA house, we have a lactation center for employers that work within NECA house. So when you bring your baby to work, you can drop the baby off, go back, feed, and all that. And we also encourage it. We also are very much at the forefront of capacity building. The issue concerning violence and harassment in the workplace, Convention 190, we have worked with the ILO to develop an employer's guide, where we are going to use to step down to educate employers on issues concerning violence and harassment in the workplace. And we know that women are the very forefront of that. And then finally, I would just like to say that the issue of information concerning work safety and health being cascaded down to the enterprise level is also done by us. And finally, I would just like to say that my DG would very much expresses his regards to everyone here. He was here because he really, really advocates for the progress of women in the workplace. So in spite of the fact that I was going to be on the panel, he still came to come and give his welcome remarks here. Unfortunately, we didn't start on time, so he had to leave. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And as I said, the conversation is not going to end here, because if we had to go through it, we would spend the entire time here. Thank you all so much. Thank you, my panelists, for keeping me company and keeping the session very vibrant. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of the program. Thank you. Photograph.
Thank you. Please, another round of applause for the panelists, ladies and gentlemen, and of course the moderator. Now we're going for the next breakout session, and we'd like to do that very quickly. When we come back from the breakout session, we would have the lunch session but before the lunch session, we'd have the goodwill messages. So breakout sessions, we'll come back, we'll have goodwill messages, some key announcements. You don't want to miss out on those key announcements, and lunch. Now, speaking about breakout session, the breakout rooms are the same ones we've used. There's just going to be a final one that makes it 5. So we're having 5 breakout rooms. Room 1 remains this place. Room 2 and 3 are on the first floor. And room 5 and room 4 are on the ground floor. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the breakout session. We've already registered. The ushers and the volunteers are happy to guide us to the necessary breakout sessions. Remember that room 1 is here, while room 2 and 3 are on the first floor, and room 4 and 5 are on the ground floor. The breakout session is going to begin now, and the speakers are ready. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, for some more guidance, the breakout room 1 is here, and the topic is governance. So it's the governance category. It's talking about shaping policy and advocacy, and Mr. Dakpo Omolade is in charge of that breakout session. So he's the speaker. Room 1, Mr. Dakpo Omolade. Room 2 is sustainability category. That's the sustainability category talking about human capital, and it's going to be led by Jariah Mora. Room 2 is on the first floor. You recall that I mentioned that room 2 and 3 are on the first floor. Room 3 is the leadership category, speaking about the first floor as well. Louis Hoskin is leading that session. Louis Hoskin is the speaker, talking about boots to boardroom. Boots to boardroom, the roadmap from operational contributor to strategic leadership. Now that's also going to be taking place on the second and on the first floor. 2 and 3 on the first floor. Now speaking about room 4 and 5. Room 4 is talking about technology. That is the new Africa, AI, robotics, and digitization. And that one is holding on the room 4 and 5 is holding on the ground floor. Please pardon me. 4 and 5 on the ground floor. And the speaker is Oluwakemi Orumosaye. So that's on the ground floor. 5 also on the ground floor is building bridges, the wellness category. And that's led by Morenike George. So ladies and gentlemen, room 1 is here. Room 2 and 3 is on the first floor. Room 4 and 5 is on the ground floor. It's time for breakout session. Room 4 and 5 is on the ground floor behind the vendors. And would like you to please just go very quickly to the breakout room. We'll reconverge here after the breakout sessions and go on with the event. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I believe whoever is left here now should be here for the governance session. Please let's settle down. Can I have our attention, please? Good afternoon. Okay. Well, welcome to this breakout session. My name is Oluwatoyin. I'm going to be moderating for this session. We're exploring the governance dimension of EHS, that is environmental health and safety. And the focus of the breakout session is shaping policy and advocacy, the impacts of policy and regulation on EHS practices and how women can influence change. Our discussion, basically in simple terms, is going to delve into the critical intersections of policy, regulations, and women leadership in EHS. And we're going to be examining the challenges, opportunities, and strategies for effective governance in EHS. And I believe it's going to be value for our time. To guide us through this important discussion, it's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker, Dr. Omolade. A round of applause, please. Dr. Omolade is a seasoned safety and sustainability expert with over 24 years of experience in occupational health, safety, environment, and project management. As the CEO of Hybrid Group, he provides comprehensive safety solutions to clients across various industries. Holding an MSc in Environmental and Safety Management that has earned prestigious certifications from NABOSH, IOSH, and others. He has also attended esteemed institutions such as Harvard School of Public Health, London School of Businesses and Finance, and Lagos Business School. His roles includes ex-chairman, IOSH West Africa, President, Safety, Advocacy and Empowerment Foundation, National Publicity Secretary, Oil and Gas Trainers Association of Nigeria, amongst others. He's a sought-after speaker, coach, and mentor. He has addressed numerous seminars and conferences just like this. He is a member of several internationally recognized professional bodies. And outside of his professional endeavors, he's a devoted family man, happily married and living with his family here in Lagos, Nigeria. And his leisure time is filled with reading, social networking, and watching football. With this impressive expertise and experience, please join me as we warmly welcome Dr. Omolade to take us through this session. A round of applause, please.
How many minutes do I have? I think 20 minutes. 20. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I see very few men present now, but I'm sure they are here to give us their best support. So let me stand on all the established protocols since morning that we've been here. As we get close to the end of this now, I'm sure it's been a very wonderful day for every one of us. So thank you so much, and special thanks to Fumi and the SOWSHE-A team for this opportunity to share some mind-boggling issues with us on governance. And that's the topic I've been given, so I'll just go through some of that. I don't know if my slide is going to show, otherwise I'll just go through my slide here. Okay, so while they are trying to put the slide together. All right, so the discussion is on policies, actually, policies, regulations, and how this shapes practices that we have in EHS. Of course, some of us know that as HSE, whatever we call it, or SHE. But how does policy, what is the impact of policy and regulation on what we do, and how does that affect EHS practices? So basically, during the course of today, we have heard so many people talk about some aspect of what I'm discussing, which is on policies and regulations. And if you listen very attentively to the last panelist team, you will see issue of regulation also coming in very strongly. It's no hard saying that where there are no policies and there are no regulations, it's very difficult for us to work in a single way. Implications of that is without policy, leadership is missing. So the real key here is leadership, because once you measure policy, then the next thing you are thinking about is leadership. Because everything policy making comes from the top. So if there are no policies and there are no regulations, then you already put yourself in a gap where everything goes. For many years, up until recently in Nigeria, even though we have had some laws in place, you would say that leadership for health and safety has been a major problem. And if you take Nigeria as a template and you go to other African countries, I've been privileged to visit a few of them, you would see that the major challenge to us in this industry, EHS industry, is the problem of policy, and then what you call the will to obey or to implement the policy. Now, to the women part of the whole thing, which is an interesting part. If there are no guidelines, so I mean, some of us are very glad and excited about the new framework for sustainability that is allowing us. I can't see the slide. All right. So the sustainability, do I call it a bug that started some years ago? Of course, is built on the Millennium Development Goals, has brought to the fore the need for us, especially in this industry, to look beyond ourselves as the male folks. And I don't want to re-emphasize that, because even in Nigeria, you can tell the story quickly that the men dominate that industry. And that's not only the truth, it's actually global. I did some research some years back on this issue, and between the whole world on the average is actually about 70 to 30% right now, where the 30% is actually in the very advanced society where you must by compulsion, you must by policy, you must by regulation bring the women folks into the industry. Some weeks back or some months back, I had a role to fill for a big organization in Nigeria here. And let me tell you what the contact person told me. He said, unfortunately, Dapsin, we cannot advertise this, but this role can only be for a lady. That was what he told me. So I said, why can't you advertise it? And he said, where will I put it? In a newspaper as an organization that we are. If I put that up in an organization to say, in an advert to say, we need this role for an EHS manager, it's got to be a lady, people will come after us. Now, why is that the case? Because there's no framework. There's no framework that mandates organization to go that way. So when you decide to do that yourself, you may be seen as being biased. And this bias issue is not just towards the women folks. It's also something that the men can cry out. My very good brother Jamie is always saying, very soon, we are the ones that are going to be marginalized. Because the way it is going right now, very soon, we will be the one raising up and say, please, you are marginalizing us. Because the drive for the ladies in every sector, especially in our industry, has become a major thing. The driver for this is sustainability. The driver for it is governance. So when governance come to the table that allows ethical, when you talk about governance, you talk about ethical systems, standards, policy that must be in place. I just imagine if in your organization, right from the policy, the owner of the business says, in this organization, no matter how you try, I need a ratio of 6 to 4, 60% to 40% of men and female. If that is enshrined in the policy of the organization, it will get done. But what usually happens is this: there are no policies, there are no framework. So what you see is, we just employ. And as you employ, you are looking for the best hands. You are looking for the competent people that can do the job. By the time you finish filling the competent gap, you discover that you have everyone is a man, or 90% are men. I'm speaking typically of what has happened to me. It was about 4 years ago that I had to start becoming conscious that, hey, what's going on here? There was a time in my business, there was only one lady, and you don't want to know where that lady occupied. How many of you want to know where she occupied? The reception. In my business, the only lady that was there was in the reception. But as we began to think consciously, and this is where it's going, you cannot have governance without intentionality. Somebody have to make the call and say, this is what we want. If that's not done, if it's not backed up by the signatures of the owners of the business, because governance is not just about government. Governance is what drives your policy. In your organization, if your policy says this, then you can move that to anywhere you want to go to, and they will say you have governance principles in your workplace. They will say you have ethical standards that are going on. But if nobody talks about it, now the problem, and I think I read this in Canadian Journal, the problem at the initial stage that we don't even have competent female in that place. We don't have them. So ordinarily you want somebody to be there, and employers are smart sometimes. It will take me the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years training that lady to fill that role. But I need that role to be done, and I want deliverables. What do? I look for the quick fix. Many businesses today is about quick fixes. Get the breasting that is already ready-made, made ready to do the job and deliver the goods. So you do not consider that you can actually train. And that's why I'm very excited about what SOWSHE-A is doing, because in the first cohort of the mentorship, I had to mentor 3 ladies as part of the mentors in the first cohort. And I saw, one of them today, I don't know if she came here, I see what she does now in Ibadan where she is, and it's amazing. If there is no intention to groom, because we can't deny this fact, to be honest. Population of the world is not as if it is equal. But if you go out of that, if you say how many Nigerians today are professionals in this industry, put them side by side, male, female, you will see the percentage. The truth is that number is small when it comes to the female. I say it. I'm doing a program right now on empowerment. And when we wanted to start this cohort 4, the batch 4, and the interview was done, it was a shocker for me. The interview was done, almost 1,000 people applied. When we finally did the shortlisting, and I saw the final list, you don't want to believe how many ladies were in that cohort. There were 10 out of 15. 10 ladies. Now, my team came to me, one of them is here, came to me and said, Dapsin, how are we going to have 10 ladies versus 5 men? Is there something we can do to make sure it at least balanced, being more men? And let me tell you the justification. He said, a lot of our work, Dapsin, presently is in construction site. Look at the examples of what has happened to us in construction site. By the time you take a lady there, after a year or 2, she cannot continue. You need to look for a guy who can close at 9 p.m. A guy who can leave the work at 12 midnight. These are factors of work that somebody needs to be intentional about. Otherwise, that will be the situation. And I said, no, this is by merit. Is that correct? He said, yes. We are going with that number. Today, as I speak with you, the 10 ladies are right there in the class about to graduate. This is what everybody needs to start doing. We need to, because I started my journey not too long ago in this industry, and there was no lady in our team. I worked in the oil and gas. There was no lady. And then, let me tell you why. It was like a taboo for ladies to work offshore. If you're in the oil industry, you know what I talk about. In the offshore, it's a boat, it's a cabin, it's a container that is made very beautiful for you to live in. And then you are 2 or 4, depending on your level of authority. So while I was starting, I was an officer. So typically my room has 4 men. So how do you get a lady into that room? I remember the first FPSO that was built in Nigeria with a lady cabin. I was part of that project, the first FPSO that was built by Total. When they were building that FPSO and they were saying there will be lady cabins inside, I was like, wow, this is good. Because we don't have ladies cabins. It's all men. You go to the offshore, if you will see a lady there in the kitchen cooking for us, that's where you will see them. Even men took over the jobs of the ladies because ladies could not survive the water and the hazardous nature of offshore. So it's still the same thing we are talking about here. If there is no policy-driven decisions to bring ladies to the table, they cannot become leaders. You've got to come to the table before you become a leader. This industry is technical industry. So you can't lead a team of people to say, I'm leading you on risk assessment, on audit, and then somebody is asking you, what does that mean? You say you don't know because I must be a leader. Nobody does that. There will be an accident and everybody will be in trouble. So what do we need to do? Intentional. Are there governance policy that says, let's go train people? That's one of the things that when this came up, SOWSHE-A, and then the one that my other sister, Monica, I told them I'm in for this because we need to groom that. I can tell you today in my business, I can tell you the last statistics is 58 versus 42% in my business. And I'm very intentional about it. So there are some roles in my business now that I'll tell the HR, it can only be a lady. I won't put that in the advert. All of you should apply. But we'll go for the lady because it has to be intentional. No policy is signed by anybody without meaning it. If Nigeria comes from the governance level, from the government, and we decide, what can we do about this? I was talking with one of the DG, the technical advisor to the Lagos State Commission, just here when we were going, and he was asking a very pertinent question. What do we do about this? I said, internationally, there may not be an answer for you, but you are a regulator in Lagos. Can you do something about it? Because that's the power of policy. That's the power of government. Nobody is going to come crying on you if the law says it. But if the law does not say it, then you cannot do it. And some of you know what discrimination can easily mean. I only want a lady for that. They say that boy is discriminative. Oh, I want somebody from this location. No, that boy is discriminative. The government, the company, you will hear all of it. So to make impact, I sit where knowledge and education is strong. That's my own passion in the industry. People need to have competence to do their job. For me, incompetence is the first reason I look for when an accident happens. Many of you that investigate accidents here, you know what I'm talking about. Once I cross the when I cross the T of incompetence, any other thing can be the reason. And if there is incompetence, then how can you bring it to the table? We've got to do this. As many of us that understand, we are not just saying there's a competition out there, but we're also saying equity is very difficult if competence is not guaranteed. I cannot put you on the table when I'm not even sure you can stand properly on the table. You know, equity is a very interesting thing. Now, I'm still learning what equity means because it's totally different from equality. We have practiced equality for a long time. Some of us are struggling with equity now. My colleague at the back there were just about equity before I came up here. And he was saying, ladies say they want to do everything. I said, yes, I'm tall here, I'm a guy, and I'm standing here. A lady cannot come. I must provide a table that is at this high and get the lady to stay there. It will cost me money to buy the table, but I must provide that table in order for her to be at the same height with me to do the job. That's equity. That's cost. That's cost. If you're a business person, you know what I mean. That's cost. Who is ready to bear that cost? How many companies or owners of business want to bear the cost of first getting and training and say, I'm training them, then when I finish training them, I'll now put them on that same level and pedestal with men. No, that's tough. And, you know, when I speak from the other side of my heart, as a business person, I get a bit tough. So it's only when I'm talking about health and safety that I have some sense. Because business people, the only sense we know is what? Is the figures. If the numbers are not right, then there's no decision to be made. And that's the truth. So there are times I get to decision making and I say, okay, I can't do this. The numbers are not right. But that thing I'm supposed to do is the right thing, but the numbers are not right. So I go to where the numbers are right. But when I decide to wear that hat of a safety professional, I say, okay, let me do what is ethical and what is right. This is the main crux of this. Impact from our women folks is possible. Now, let me round up by saying this. I've got only 15 minutes and I'm almost round up now. I've done some analysis in my business and in my career in the last few years. And you know, one of the things I found out, in few places where I have ladies, okay, so that's also another thing. I have ladies leading men in some of our jobs that we do in my business. Ladies leading men on construction sites. Ladies leading men in projects. And she's the manager, and there are 7 men reporting to her every day. She's the most competent for that job. She's there. And I've also had men leading some folks. But I've had to do some comparison sometimes. And this is not to make you feel good, guys, or ladies that are here. The fact is, in some of my analysis, I've preferred to have a lady in that place. Because, I don't know, some of us, you think ladies are very emotional, but some of them are not emotional when it gets to work. They're actually tougher at work than when they're at home. When a lady is in charge of a structure, you can go to bed. A system. If you have built a system and you let the lady lead it, you can go to bed. When you let us lead it, you may sleep with one eye opened. So there are some sites that I have tough people, and I say, oh, that client, the workers on that client are going to give me trouble. What do I need to do? I need a lady here. And I take a lady there, and they deliver. I have some of them today. So I know it's not about not being able to do it. But before I made that call, I know what that lady has done. I've seen her journey. I've seen what she has demonstrated. And I'm very comfortable that beyond competence, and because that's what IOSH did, beyond technical competence, there are other soft skills that the ladies have that some of us men, no matter how much you try and read about it, we can't just get it because there are innate characteristics that are there. And they bring those things to the table. So we need to understand here that we are very, Fumi knows me very well, our arms are opened for ladies to jump into this industry. We need you ladies to help us in this industry because the characteristics that you guys have can make it work well. But we need to get to that point where we develop all the skills that we need to get there. I think that is the greatest objective that I see from SOWSHE-A. And I think if we all support this and run with it, it's just a matter of time. I will follow what Jamie always says. They will start begging that, please give us seats on the table. I know you are looking forward to that. And in a few years' time, 5 years, 7 years, when this starts happening, I'll still be here so you can ask me. This is not prophecy. This is what I'm seeing already. And I know it's going to happen. So welcome to health and safety. With governance, with policy, with knowledge, with competencies that we need, then we can do this together. If you then decide to relegate us to the background, we'll find something else to do, don't worry. But you are welcome. We embrace wholeheartedly what the ladies are bringing to the table. And I'm sure as we leave this environment, this conference, these thoughts should begin in our hearts. Everybody start thinking about it. What can I do? How can I be part of this to make sure we have the right skill set and the right people on the table to come and do the job for us? Last word. If you are in an organization where this discrimination is still very open, you need to start working around it. Ladies, we need to start being deliberate. Some of us have authorities to change this, but you don't even understand why you are not changing it. There are people here who are policy makers. Well, they may not be policy makers, they can be policy changers or influencers. That you are not the one making it, but when the policy is out, you can say, no, we don't want it this way, and they will listen to you. Why don't you start also in the industry? One of the biggest job I did some time ago, I was given a criteria. Let me tell you the criteria. I need 10 men on this job, 10 men, 10. And this is the minimum height they must have. Do you know I still received that kind of criteria from a client recently? This was 8 years ago, I got that criteria. Recently, I got a criteria that's saying I need 6 guys to come and work here. 6 guys. I don't want to hear a lady. It's not as if a lady cannot work in that place. So I'm still here, as I'm telling you, trying to tell the client to say, client, why don't you have just one lady to help? Or maybe I'll try and take the tough decision, which some of you are praying I will take. I will not do that job if we don't have a lady in the class, in the team. I may not be able to do that very easily, to be honest. So therefore, let's go in there, make the policy, change the policy, influence the policy, and finally, let's get our ladies to do what they can do. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful session. I believe we all had value for our time. We understood what he talked about, and we were able to get a few points. I picked some things. He said without policies, leadership is missing. He said the major challenge we have in EHS is policy, and governance is what will drive those policies. And then he said there should be policy decisions that will bring women to the table before they can become leaders. But also he charged us as women. It is not only about policies bringing us onto the table. We also need to build that competence. We also need to go through training and capacity building, because it is pointless for us to be on the table and then not be competent. So thank you very much, sir. If we all have questions, please, it is time now to take our questions. Is there anybody in the audience that has a question, a suggestion, or a contribution to the topic that has been shared? Please, if you have any questions, for people online also, I think we can also take questions online, on-site and online. Questions, suggestions, contributions. Okay, ma. Sir?
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate you for this, your enriching presentation. You talked about policy, and it's government that makes policy. Most often, I agree with you that at times when policies are made, implementation is difficult. But the issue is this: policies are made, regulations are made, are developed, but compliance is difficult. So but in our own case, we have actually tried to, we have penalties for people who do not comply. But most often, if you continue, like in some places, we can prosecute, we can prohibit. But most often, when you prohibit, many people will be unemployed. So what do we do in this aspect? Because most companies, there is no majority do not comply. Do you continue prohibiting workplaces? What do you think about it? Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma. I didn't notice you were the one seated. Thank you, ma. God bless you, ma. Governance has some structures. When you say governance, included in governance is compliance. So if you go to the ESG that you're talking about, environment, social, and governance, you find out that anytime you pick that umbrella of governance, you see the policies, the rules, the regulations, you see the ethics, you see the compliance, you see the enforcement. That is governance. If we do not enforce because there will be outcry from people that you are not doing it, then we are going to be where we are till tomorrow. The point is, I would say it this way: if your child does something wrong and you say, I don't want the child to not be happy, so I will not talk to the child to correct the child, then what you have just told yourself is when the child becomes an adult, you have a bigger problem in your hand. That's exactly what it is. If we cannot implement the policies, or we cannot enforce, and we cannot use that part of the governance to complete the whole circle. If I show my slide, I actually showed a circle of governance. And I put at the center of that governance, I say, what makes this happen is the enforcement. No matter how beautiful your policies are, or your regulations. I mean, Nigeria is a very good case study of policies and regulations. What is lacking is not policies, is not regulations, is the enforcement and the will to enforce. That will to enforce is because I don't want to be labeled a bad person. And anybody here who does not want to be labeled a bad person, you are in a wrong profession. Health and safety is a compliance-driven profession. That's what we are. We do not, I don't know who is here and is happy when an incident occurs. Or somebody has broken the rule. You say, I don't want to force the person. He broke the rule. Let him go free. No. That's why you see today some organizations are moving EHS or HSC to compliance. You are the one driving compliance. You work with the legal team. Because we are compliance. This is health and safety. This is EHS. Therefore, compliance is our instrument. Policies are there. Even if an organization MD signs a policy and it does not implement or enforce it, it's not going to get any answer. It's the same thing. That's why I wasn't even talking about government, because for me, government is an elephant in the house, and it's very difficult to eat an elephant. So, but if I run my 5-man business and I'm the MD, and I say by policy I will do this and I'm doing it, it will create more potential for achievement than where government is writing over there in over 200 million Nigerians. So that's why I was addressing, not even government, our own people, organizations that are represented here, where this discrimination is going on, where people are saying a lady cannot do the job, no, and like Fumi said when she was talking, you earn little because you are a lady. Those are terrible parameters that defeat governance. Anybody that wants to understand governance, just go and look at that word governance and see what it entails. Anything unethical is not governance. And I think it's unethical for myself and David to be at the same level, but because he's a lady, I said, no, you earn less than me. That's unethical. And if it's unethical, it's not governance. And finally, with ESG today, if you do not follow governance, you cannot exist as an organization. Governance is the name of the game. If you follow anything ESG, the E and the safety is very easy. The governance is the toughest one. I taught a course on sustainability not long ago, and I told them in the class how governance even determines the salary of your MD versus the salary of the workers. Governance. So some MD will soon resign because the amount they are earning can pay 100 staff, and they will put a question mark there. That's not governance. If you have governance checklist, you'll be shocked at what you will see there. So the point is, let's go implement. Let's try. It's tough. They will hate you. They will label you. But safety, if we do not enforce, then we're in the wrong industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We still have space for one more question, please, if you have a question. Okay, please. There's a video.
Don't worry. We got you.
Thank you very much. I want to make a contribution. Thank you very much for your lecture. And my name is Nonyo Mahi. I'm a medical laboratory scientist and a practitioner as well, and a business development expert. So, for compliance, I will suggest 2 things. You remember what he said, that sometimes you can be technically competent, but some soft issues may be the issue. Sometimes what makes compliance not easy is when the person doesn't understand what to do. If you look at what we are discussing here, HSE is an area that most people still are trying to understand, and that's because we have so many ratifications but no domesticated law in Nigeria yet the way it should be. Thanks to Lagos for what they are doing. I really appreciate the work they are doing. So I think we should do more of advocacy for people to understand how HSE affects their life. We are talking about health. In fact, most people, if you tell them HSE, they will tell you, what does it mean? I don't know who gets that. That's normally the first thing. They'll ask you, what does HSE mean? So you have to start first by breaking down for them to understand. Then for those that are supposed to implement HSE, just like he said, are they well trained? Are they competent? Have their capacities been built? Because it's one thing to be in a role, another thing to be competent to execute that role. In Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, but in most places we have misfits. Not most, but a good number of places having misfits for a particular role. I'm very happy to hear that we're going to have OHS cadre in government starting from Lagos, and I'm hoping it will trickle down to other states so that the right and the competent people can man those desks and do the job. Then with regards to women, I want to use this opportunity to talk about, since there are policymakers here, about maternity leave. If there's a way we can actually make maternity leave up to 6 months for women, please let us do. Let me tell you the health implication. The health implication is breastfeeding. A lot of women also do HR. So just like he said during interviews, and one of the panelists said, once you ask a question, these days women know. They will tell you, no, I'm not married, or they'll find somehow to just keep that thing by the side so that they can get the job. Why? Because they want to get back to work. So if it's possible for policymakers to make maternity leave up to 6 months, please go ahead and do so. We are having a good number of children now developing defects because they are not breastfeeding properly. Secondly, if these women are not allowed to be at home with their children, even when they are toddlers, we are looking at having children that are not with their parents, and we are talking about social upbringing. Later, it comes back to the society. So it will really be good if women are given the opportunity to be at home for that 6 months, breastfeed their children for that 6 months, so that the children that are going to come up will be healthy enough. If you stop that breastfeeding before then, it's not as if the child wouldn't grow. The child will grow, but the child didn't get up to that 6 months breastfeeding. And also support the fact that men should be given paternity leaves. I don't know, I think some states have started that. They should be given paternity leaves so that they can work with their wives. It helped me a lot when I was having my children. When I finished breastfeeding, my husband would take the children from me and I go to sleep. So if he didn't go to work, it would be better for him so that he too can rest. And I'll end with a funny one. One of his colleagues was asked why he came late to work. And he told them, "Don't you know I'm a nursing father?" Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma, for that amazing contribution. So a very big thank you to our contributors and to our speaker. That was a very insightful session. Thank you to everyone for listening attentively. And we would be moving forward in the program now. I'll be handing over to the MCs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So now we're converging again, and it's now the general session, the plenary session. I'd like to quickly recognize our sponsors. 3 of our sponsors, I'm going to mention them and ask us, ladies and gentlemen, to please be generous with our applause. Please celebrate and recognize CTS. Thank you. Please celebrate Ayosh. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Also, would like to recognize NSITF. Please, a round of applause for NSITF. Thank you so much. All right. Also, I'd like to just give us some information about what is happening here. There's the exhibition that is going on the ground floor. When you came into the building, I'm sure you probably noticed some exhibitors. Just to remind you that the exhibitors are there and you can go in and find out what they do and the services that they provide. For example, we have, part of our exhibitors, we have SOWSHE-A. So SOWSHE-A is there. You want to know much more. Somebody was asking on Slido some questions about what's this organization about, how can I be a part of it? SOWSHE-A is exhibiting downstairs, and you get a sense of what this is about. Hybrid Group is also exhibiting on the ground. So please, you can go to the ground floor if you'd like to see what our exhibitors are doing. Century Group is exhibiting. So, well, we can go to the exhibition spaces after we close, and we'll close shortly. So you can go to the exhibition places after we close. Quota Safety Consults. Quota Safety Consults is also exhibiting. Combined Training Services Limited, CTS, they are also exhibiting downstairs. White Rock Wellness Limited. White Rock Wellness Limited is also exhibiting. Flow Crunch. Flow Crunch is downstairs on the ground floor exhibiting. AXA Mansard Insurance PLC is also exhibiting downstairs. And we have PHMG. PHMG is also exhibiting as well. I've also been informed that 2 of our exhibitors are going to be providing massage services, their masseuse. So you may want to just get this opportunity at no cost. So you want to just get you want to relax very quickly. You may want to go to visit the exhibition center. That's White Rock Wellness and PHMC. So thank you to our exhibitors. Thank you to our sponsors. Now I would ask the media to please display the QR code for Slido again. And there's a reason we're going to be displaying, because very soon we will be having a quick poll. So please, let's display the QR code on our screen for Slido. QR code for Slido, so that you can scan it. If you missed out on the first opportunity to scan the QR code, this is the opportunity. Please, let's display the QR code for Slido so that you can scan, because we're going to be having some quick poll and we'd like to hear from you. This is an opportunity not just for our on-site guests, but also for our virtual guests. So whether in person or virtual, we want to be a part of this. All right, while we're waiting to get that displayed and move on with the next segment, quick question, quick quiz. You recall that we had some quizzes earlier on where we said, guess where I'm from? All right, so I'm going to ask this. This country is the origin of coffee. Coffee originated from this country, to put it that way, with a tradition of coffee ceremonies. And it is in Africa, an African country where coffee originated from. I'm going to disqualify our speakers, and I hope that the answer that he has whispered hasn't got into the back. But anybody wants to take a stab at that, please, you're not allowed to use ChatGPT. You're not allowed to use Google. Which other one? Copilot? No way. You're not allowed to use any of the Gemini? No way. So what's the answer? Ethiopia. Correct. But let me ask you, did you use Google? Okay, awesome. Awesome. Please, a round of applause for yourselves. All right, let's go on. While we're waiting for the QR code to come up, this one is famous for, if I say the word, you'd already know. It's famous for its ancient pyramids, which are some of the most, okay, the pyramid gave me away. I should have found the synonym, but yes, please give it up for yourselves. Egypt. Beautiful to see Africans, gathered together. This is a QR code, so please, bring out your mobile devices and scan. If you haven't done so, use the code 1733135, because we're going to have some quick questions shortly. And we're just going to give us a few minutes to do that. All right, so if you're unable to scan this QR code, you can just go to Slido and enter this code. So you can just go on Slido and just enter the code. So if you're unable to access the QR code from your, by scanning it, you can just do that easily and just access this code that has been written. It will give you that button that says access the code. put a code on. So you go to www.slido.com and then you enter this code, because we're going to get into a session very soon. All right, let's try this one. This country is renowned for its stunning landscapes and wildlife, including the Great Migration in the Masai Mara. Where my Kenya people? Okay, let's see this one. Home to the historical city of Marrakesh, known for the beautiful Jardin Majorelle. Morocco. Beautiful to see an African audience. Stella, please come join me for the next session. All right, let me come to a state within Nigeria. Let me see how much of Nigeria we know. I know we're Africans and we know some things about our different nations represented here. Where is the Yankari National Park located? Oh, I feel like my questions are too easy. I need to go and deep one. That's very deep, one of those questions. Okay, the largest cocoa producing country in Africa. Okay, let me hear what over here, what's the answer? Over here, what's your answer? I hear another answer. Okay, what do you say? You say Ghana. And here you said, okay, this is the opportunity where I get to be a Frank Idoho from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And I said to you, ladies and gentlemen, that if you said Ghana, you are not correct. Because Ghana is the second largest. The largest is actually Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire. So if you said Ghana, you're not correct. All right, so if you've entered the code, then we're going to begin. Please, we're going to begin the poll very quickly. We're going to be asking you some questions and projecting it as well on Slido. If we could please project it in a clearer way. First, starting with the first question. Participants are joining already. I can see Iman, Loyes. I can see a number of participants here. Are we set to begin? Please cue me when we are set to begin. All right. Which country has the second highest percentage of women in its national legislature? Okay, how many people voted for Sweden, Stella?
We have 35%, 39 now for Sweden,
okay.
41.
Second largest percentage of women in its national legislature. I think is that the question we're on? Okay,
yes.
Sweden, New Zealand, Cuba, and USA. All right, so 50% actually are saying it is New Zealand. And second largest.
41% is saying Sweden.
Stella, what do you think? Does majority usually carry the answer? Are they usually right? They say follow who no road.
Should I follow the majority?
Should we follow the majority? Because sometimes you just see more people are going there and they say New Zealand, New Zealand. Please don't Google, oh. Don't Google. Because I can sense some ojoro about to happen.
I think both the majority and the second majority they didn't lead us to the right direction. Because I can see the answer right now.
The answer is Cuba. Cuba actually has the second largest percentage of women in parliament as of December 2023. Can we go to the next question? I'm not sure if we've taken the first one. This is not the first one. Please don't display the answer with the question. Oh. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Let's take the one before this one, please. All right, so I guess we're already taking this one. As of December 2023, what was the percentage of women in the Rwanda parliament? Lower a single house. Option A, you want to phone a friend?
Option
Ask
A,
the audience.
713, 613, 513, and
No,
71.3,
71.3%,
61.3, 51.3, and 70.3.
But I want you to know that the answer to this has to be a 0.3. So it's now a matter of which of them. Stella, what do you think? What is the majority saying here?
Majority is saying 51.3.
Majority are saying that it's 51.3. Should we follow majority again?
failed us the other time.
Yes.
What do you think?
You know, it's good to have a stance sometimes. All right.
Let's see.
Let's see what the answer is. Percentage of women in parliament, 61.3. Amazing. And the people who are clapping are the ones who chose 61.3. All right, take us to the next one. The one before this one, please. Women's event, and we're learning more and more about women across Africa and women around the world. All right. More people are joining the quiz. More people are joining the quiz. Can we please go to the first question?
Okay.
All right.
Next question.
Okay, take this one, please.
Okay. Which of the following countries was the first to grant women the right to vote? We have New Zealand, Finland, United States, and Australia. So the voting is going on right now. Let's see.
75%, I believe, are voting for the US, the first country to give women the right to vote. And then the next to that is
Finland.
Finland with
15%.
See the disparity is so wide. And then we now have New Zealand with
8%, and
then
Australia.
2% are saying Australia. So what is the answer? What is the answer? I have Finland. New Zealand. Okay.
I think what's happening with this majority is like everything majority picks is not aligning today. So should we rule out majority carries the vote? Should we rule it out? It doesn't apply. It's not applying here today. Okay, let's take one more question. Can we move to one more question? Let's see. Okay. Okay, more participants are joining, and then we take one more question. Okay. Which woman is known for her work in developing safety protocols for hazardous materials, particularly for educational materials? So we have Dr. Anna Johnson, Dr. Can I see that clearly? Dr. Ellen Wang, right? Dr. Mantha R. Brandy, and Dr. Ethel Butler. So let's see. So Dr. Ellen at 35%, Dr. Mantha at 33%.
Wow. Stella, I think that at this point, some people are already doing mini, more. Because they missed everything. So they're like, I cannot use this this thing again. Let me just do mini, more.
Pick one.
Pick one. But let's see whether mini, more will even work. All right, please tell us the right answer.
Let's see.
Woo! Majority keeps missing it. All right, let's go to the very first question. Can we please go to the very first question? The very first question. Here. The very first question.
Okay, we've taken this. We just did this now.
No, this is the same one we've just had. All right, let's quickly take it. All right, as we're about to take that, I just want to appreciate again everyone who has supported all of our sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a round of applause. Please celebrate them as we're trying to bring that up. All of our sponsors, thank you so much. And we particularly want to thank one of our supporters. You've been in here, a lot of people have come into Nigeria for the first time and they've experienced this beautiful venue from the entrance, down to all of the halls, the facilities, the exhibition center, this beautiful hall, and just everything that we are accessing today. And would like to thank our supporter. Please give it up for this venue. Joel Aida, please a round of applause. It's a beautiful, beautiful venue in Lagos, Nigeria. And would like to thank the CEO and the team members who have been so kind and have worked with us to ensure a smooth event. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, are we able to get the final question before we wrap? All right. Okay, so I'm just going to ask this question because it's not coming up yet. So if you've missed all the questions, this is an opportunity to get one. Oh.
This is an opportunity to redeem yourself.
This is an opportunity. So who was the first woman to lead the African Union Commission advocating for women's rights and environmental issues?
Okay.
Stella, give us the options.
Okay. First, we have Nkosazana Lamini Zuma. Second, we have Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Third, we have Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. And fourth, we have Winnie Yanyima. Okay?
So, option A, option B, option... You want us to repeat the answers?
Should we repeat it?
Should we phone a friend? Should computer remove 2 incorrect answers and give you 2 correct answers? 50-50.
50-50.
Okay, let's do 50-50. Okay, computer, remove 2 let me feel like Frank.
Okay.
Computer, remove 2 incorrect answers and give us the 2 correct answers.
Okay. So after doing this, let us still see
but then you'll
if
get
you
it
will get
right.
it correctly. Okay, so I'm deleting 2 incorrect answers. So we have Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Nkosazana Lamini Zuma. So which is it? Please say louder. Say it like you are sure. You are very wrong.
And the thing is that over there they've been getting all the right answers. Yes. But this one was a trap.
Yes,
it was. But let me give you one that all of us will get. All of us will get it. So let's close on this note. The first woman and the first African to lead the World Trade Organization. I can't hear you. Okay, so we can all agree that at least we've gotten one. Please, a round of applause for yourself. Wonderful. A wonderful time we've had, and we'd now like to quickly invite for her closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as I welcome the Vice President, SOWSHE-A, as she comes to talk about the future plans and closing remarks. A round of applause, please make it louder. Even if you didn't get the answer, celebrate her.
Thank you so much. I was enjoying this session, and all too soon we have to bring the conference to a close. We are so grateful to everybody that has been able to make it to this point. We don't take your indulgence for granted. We don't take your commitment and passion for granted. So first of all, in our way of appreciation, we'd like to thank our headline sponsor, NIBOSH, for making this possible, for ensuring that we could bring this conference and make it free for everybody to attend. Thank you, NIBOSH. We don't take your sponsorship for granted. And then we have our gold sponsors who supported us through and through. We have our silver sponsors who supported us, our partners and our supporters. We are very grateful. To our planning team, it's been tough from when we thought this idea up, the venue, putting everything together. And I was just telling somebody at the back that this whole week, Fumi, myself, and the team, nobody has slept before 12 a.m. And imagine the fact that we are all working. At the end of the day, we come on a call, Zoom, calling everybody just to make sure that the experience here is wonderful. So thank you all so much. And our able men, the ambassadors, Dr. Soji, this morning I saw him, I said, Doctor, you have VIP, go and sit down. He said, no, I need to make sure that this happens. And this afternoon I saw him, he said, when everything goes well, that is my thank you. So our wonderful men, Femi, Engineer Badamus, Dako, I cannot name you, our ambassadors, we love you and we really appreciate you. To all of our members, all of you here, all SOWSHE-A team members, from our conversations on WhatsApp, from liking our posts on LinkedIn, for participating in all our training, and eventually making it here. More so to those who came out of country just to be here. We do not take it for granted. So thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you. And to our wonderful mother that we go to, Ma, thank you. Our matron, every time we call on her, she would make it a point. To our distinguished guests, the DG, those who have left, everybody that has been here, we say thank you. This is only the beginning. So those of you who are not part of SOWSHE-A, you see the kind of fun we have when we remove our safety helmets and our safety boots. So we invite all of you to come and be part of SOWSHE-A. What's next? We run a very, very formidable flagship program, which is our mentorship program. We had our cohort 1, we had our cohort 2, and people ask, when is cohort 3? We say, let's have conference to breathe. So look out for our programs in the coming years. Our monthly training sessions that we have online, take part of it. And now that we have even been exposed to further materials, trust us to bring it to your doorstep, courtesy of SOWSHE-A. So we have all that planned. And this is not the last conference. As Ma said in the morning, this is not the first, and this is definitely not the last. You will see us back bigger and better. But you know, the A after the SOWSHE is Africa. And we had to honor our matron and our founder by bringing it to Nigeria. But we are taking it. Where do you think we are taking it to? Where? Because you've seen it in the brochure. Somebody spoiled my surprise. But we are going to Tanzania. Tanzania, give it up to me. Yes. So next year, our SOWSHE-A African Women in Safety, Health and Environment Conference is going to be held in Tanzania. Watch out for all the details on our social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn. We'll keep you posted, and it will be bigger and better. Thank you all so much for coming. God bless you. All those going back, we wish you a wonderful trip. But that's one thing. It's an African event, and we haven't really eaten. Does it make it an African event? Here now. So we are having our dinner this evening right here. And it is for us to wind down. Put the safety boots away, put the helmets away, okay, we'll still do risk assessments small. We will not put our safety consciousness away, but you are all invited to join us for the dinner and awards ceremony this evening. We know some of you will not be able to go back to go and freshen up, so we have a cocktail hour starting in the next hour from 5 to 6 because the dinner starts at 6. So, courtesy of our sponsor, Laurent Pierre, they have wonderful and amazing cocktails to water it down, to get us in the mood, for us to dance. As you can see, my president told me, Portia, you have to wear heels. I said, I don't wear heels. Now she's going to bring it down, so I know it's about to happen. And I can't wait to have all of you here because you've been part of this conference and you deserve to be celebrated. So kindly, on behalf of our matron, on behalf of our founder and president and the whole SOWSHE-A leadership team, warmly accept our invitation to join us for the dinner and award ceremony, which is happening in the next 2 hours, and we are going to bring it down. We are going to bring it down. So cheers to you all and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Women in EHS.
SOWSHE-A.
Woo, let's keep the energy high as we close. Women in EHS.
SOWSHE-A.
SOWSHE-A.
Women in EHS.
If you've had a lovely time at the conference, you already know that the dinner and awards is even going to be more amazing. So please be here by 6 p.m. 6 p.m. You are going to have a wonderful time. The award ceremony is going to be beautiful. 6 p.m. Please don't leave without a taste of our hospitality. So if you want to perhaps just go stretch your legs, visit, go change, come back, please get your lunch pack and then come back to our SOWSHE-A hospitality. 6 p.m. the dinner begins. We'd ask all our guests to please let us together leave the hall so that we can transform this place into a befitting dinner setting. 6 p.m. There's enough room to network. If you don't want to leave, perhaps your place is very far away, you can stay outside and network, meet somebody, make a friend, make an acquaintance, get somebody's contact, connect, network, do all of that. And 6 p.m. the dinner would start. Once again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an honor to serve as your master of ceremonies alongside Stella Idowu. My name is Temi Badru. See you by 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.